And Israel's UN envoy has announced a freeze in relations with the UN Secretary-General's office. And this is over a decision by the United Nations to place Israel on a list of those accused of sexual violence in conflict zones. In a social media post, Israel's ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon, has criticized the UN Secretary-General, claiming that Israel would have no further contact with Guterres' office as long as the latter remains in position. Danon also condemned the addition of Israel to a UN list of conflict zone sexual violence offenders, calling it a political decision disconnected from facts and reality. The UN, on the other hand, has not yet made the report public, but according to AFP, which reviewed the report, both Israeli and Russian security forces have been added to the blacklist. Danon had said, and I'm quoting him here, that the UN has placed Israel on the same blacklist as Hamas, ISIS and the most barbaric terrorist organizations in the world. Danon also had a tense exchange with the UN Secretary-General's Chief of Staff. And during a phone call informing Danon of the UN's decision, the Israeli envoy slammed Secretary-General Guterres and said that the global body had lost all moral authority. Israel has been repeatedly mentioned in UN reports and discussions about alleged conflict-linked sexual violence during the Israel-Gaza war. Israeli officials have in turn repeatedly accused UN bodies of bias in their handling of the conflict with Hamas. The UN report released in July 2025 listed Hamas among groups accused of conflict-related sexual violence. Now, the move followed a finding by a special representative that the terror group engaged in a systematic sexual violence during the October 7, 2023 attack and against hostages held in Gaza. And for more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani from New York has sent us this report. Listen to this.
A major diplomatic confrontation is unfolding at the United Nations after Secretary-General António Guterres placed Israel and its security forces on a UN blacklist related to conflict-related sexual violence. The move puts Israel in the same category as groups including Hamas's Nukba force, which carried out the October 7th attacks. Israel's ambassador Danny Danon said that he received the decision in a tense phone call from Guterres' chief of staff before the report was released. The designation is expected to deepen already strained relations between Israel and the United Nations, with Israeli officials arguing the decision ignores Hamas atrocities and also unfairly targets the Jewish state.